Welcome to all. You have come to know what are the contemporary issues facing by adolescents. In this video, we will cover the topic substance use and abuse among adolescents. For this topic, we have with us Dr. Lakshmi Reddy, who is working as an associate professor in School of Education, and myself, Dr. Elizabeth Kuruvula. Let I introduce our distinguished expert. Dr. Lakshmi Reddy enjoys the distinction of having his bachelor's, master's, B.Ed, postgraduate diploma in statistics and PhD from Sri Venkateswara University in Andhra Pradesh. He qualified UGC JRF examination in adult education in 1987 and availed UGC junior as well as senior research fellowships while doing his PhD. He took his M.Ed degree as well as LLB from University of Delhi in 1986. He is associated with IGNOU since October 1993 till date. He started his career in Gulbarga University as a research officer and also served in National Institute of Adult Education in Delhi as a research officer. He published 4 solely authored books titled Population Education Programs in India, Population Education Misconceptions and Clarifications, Dynamic Role of Adult Education, Marching Towards a Learning Society, and towards better practices in distance education. He published 4 chapters in different books, 21 articles and 13 book reviews in various academic journals, and presented 30 papers at national and international conferences, seminars, etc. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, for this session, I want to ask some of the questions dealing with the topic substance use and abuse. First of all, what is the meaning of substance?
The word substance has different connotations in different contexts. For example, now you have asked me a question. Regarding this thing, if I ask you, what is the substance of your question? The meaning in the context will be different totally. Here it means, what is the essence of your question? Like that, in other contexts, it may refer to physical substance. In some other contexts, it will refer to chemical substance. And in the case of adolescents who use these substances, it means altogether different connotation. In this case, it may here the substance means something deemed to be harmful and also which is a restricted substance. So that is the connotation here in the case of adolescents.
Okay. What is then substance abuse?
Actually, substance use comes first and it will be followed by abuse.
Yes.
So whenever you use something in desirable limits or desirable proportion and according to the acceptable method, then there won't be any problem in the case of use. But once you use it in excess amounts or in the wrong methods and in the wrong proportions, then only that will become a substance abuse. And also if you use those substances which are not legally permitted, then also it will become a substance abuse.
Okay, sir. What are the factors contributing to problematic behavior of adolescents?
There are so many problems that the adolescents face. In fact, the first and foremost thing is physical change. And there will be vivid physical changes that occur in male and female adolescents, and that is the stage where male and females are clearly distinguished from the point of view of their sex. Then physiological changes are there which are in both the sexes, and they will cause so many changes in the hormones, etc. And these hormones will have their effect on the behavioral patterns of the adolescents, leading to psychological problems. And these psychological problems may be so many. It may be self-esteem and the identity crisis, mainly because that is the time when they want more autonomy, and in the process they will not be getting the autonomy desired from their point of view. And there are social conditions also. Social conditions like the family conditions, siblings, parents, and other members of the family, how they behave with the adolescent, that all matters. Similarly, economic conditions. If the adolescent is from a poor family, that poverty will be affecting the behavior of the adolescent. Similarly, academic factors. For example, the adolescents from poor families, they will not be in a position to cope up with the academic work or the studies, and their performance may be low, and accordingly the attainments, academic attainments will be low. That will lead to some other problem. Similarly, cultural scenarios, the customs, practices and values, etc. at the family level, and in the neighborhood and the larger society, all these will matter. Similarly, the development of autonomy, how the family, society and others try to develop the autonomy in the adults, that also will have its impact on the behavioral pattern of the adults. And expanding social relationships is another important factor, because the adults, they move out of their homes for longer durations also, sometimes living outside the families, in school hostels, etc. Those things also will add up to this issues, and they will have additional rights and responsibilities which they have to perform in the society as expected by the family or the society. For that also they have to gear up within the limits. And this freedom of choice is restricted for the adults, and the purpose and regulation of the behavior will become difficult in that case. So these are all the factors of the adolescents who are in the stage of stress and storm rather, and they will be having a problem of infatuation, that is a strong association towards something or some individuals, etc. That these are the factors that will be affecting the adolescent behavior.
Okay, sir has rightly pointed out the factors that contribute to problematic behavior among adolescents. Next question, sir, what is the functional nature of substances used and abused by adolescents? Could you please explain?
Yeah, it is very important question that you have put. See, the substances have different functions. So these functions are in a broad range, which may cause minor harmful effects to even death. So that is the range of the functions that these substances perform. For example, there are certain substances which act as intoxicants.
Yes.
These intoxicants, they will affect the brain or the central nervous system or functioning of the mind itself. So that is how this intoxicants category you can say which work as intoxicants. Next is stimulants. There are some substances which stimulate if the individual to do more work.
Yes.
That is one factor. So like that, there are these stimulants which adolescents will consume according to their perceived need. Next is analgesic category. For example, if the individual is suffering from pains, they wanted to get their pain relieved, so they will be using this analgesic substances. Then psychoactive substances which they want to use for as growth stimulators or having some other effect in the body. Then anesthetic substances are there. If adults take these substances, then it may cause a kind of anesthesia. They work as tranquilizers, the sedatives we can call them. And there is other category of substances which are put in the category of legal highs. This legal highs is a colloquial term used in developing countries. These are actually substances whose effects are not established. If they take, how they will work, it has not been established. That is why they are actually banned substances, and they will cause not only health problems, they may lead to even death of the individuals if they are not properly diagnosed. So that is the problem with these substances, and these are the different functions or effects for which these adolescents use.
Next, sir, what are the specific substances used and abused by adolescents?
Specifically, the first and foremost thing and widely known to everyone is the alcohol. The moment you say alcohol, everybody understands it.
Yes.
That is the substance. Next is tobacco. Tobacco also is widely known. It is used as a chewing substance or smoking substance in the form of cigarette, etc. So that is another specific substance. Next is caffeine. So like coffee. If you take in the coffee, there is a chemical substance called caffeine. If you take caffeine, it has its own effect.
Yes.
Okay, people say that it will reduce the sleepiness. Okay.
Yes.
Then marijuana is another substance which is also having its effect on the body. Next is pills which are not prescribed. Actually, people will be using just like that. So that is another substance. And there are opiates, cocaine, amphetamines, then hallucinogens, depressants. If persons are in depression, then they try to take this depressants and inhalants. So people who will inhale through the nose, and there are certain other substances called aerosols. By pressing them with they have some pressure, air pressure, and if you press them, then the substance will go into the nose. And there are club drugs which are generally used during the parties, so that people will enjoy, but they will have their own effects. And psychoactive substances are there, and this legal highs are also called NPS. NPS means new psychoactive substances. Why these are called new psychoactive substances is that psychoactive substances effect is known, their chemical composition is also known, whereas in the case of NPS, their composition is not known. That is the reason why they are called NPS. Another thing is, these drugs substances are available in different forms. Some are available in pure liquid forms, some are available in solid forms, some are available as powders, some are available as inhalants, some as aerosols, and some as tablets, some as capsules, some as injectives, some are chewable things. So these are all different forms in which these substances are specifically available.
So we have to be careful what type of substance these some adolescents are using or not in there. And sir, you have rightly stated about the types of substances and the specific substances abused by adolescents. Could you please explain what are the reasons for using substances by the adolescents?
There are many reasons why these adults use substances. First and foremost thing is changing mood.
Yes.
For example, if they are depressed, just to come out of that depression, feel better, they will take it. Another thing is they are having some problem and they are worried. To come out of that worry, they will take it. That is another mood changing. And people are getting bored.
Yes.
No problem, but they want to rather have done some heavy work.
Yes.
Then they want to relax. For relaxing
okay.
also, they will take it. and some want to feel elated. Elation means there is absolutely no problem.
Yes. But
Still, they want
need
something
some
more.
kind
They
of-
wanted to be in a better position, so they take it as a elating substance. Then another thing is intoxicating thing. These are all changing moods. Another thing is for physical effects also they start using substance. These physical effects are, for example, when they are engaging in sex, they wanted to have more or enhanced activity so that they can enjoy better. For that purpose they may take. And another thing is they are getting sleep, feeling drowsy, they wanted to avoid going to sleep, so they will take it to stay awake. And another thing is they lose weight actually by taking certain substances. If they are heavy, if they want to bring down the weight of their body, they will take that thing. And on the other hand, sleeplessness is there. Then for getting sleep, you will take a substance. If you are getting sleep also, to avoid sleep, you take the substance. Both situations, that is the physical effects of it. Then social purposes. What are those social purposes? For example, friends come, let us enjoy.
Yes.
Okay, just to give company, they will resort
Thus,
to.
for enjoyment, they will start alcohol.
Yes,
something
company.
like that. And later on, it will
Become a habit.
Yes.
Another thing is, some people they may not have confidence to deal with some situation. Just to gain confidence, they may use some substance. Which is substance? That is up to them, availability, affordability, and so many other things are there. And then to keep going certain things. For example, people are moving in the night out. So if they are feeling tired, if at all they want to continue further, they may use something, some substance, so that they can keep going. Another thing is the facilitative activity. For example, somebody is doing work, somebody is studying. If they want to facilitate it further, so that in the form of getting higher concentration, they will use a substance. And if they want to feel better from the boring activities, also they will resort to substance use. And very important thing is that this to manage the effects from the other substances. For example, once the adolescent started using this substance, it is having some effect. If it is working, they will continue. But if the substance is not working, then they try to supplement it with some other substance, so that its effect will be more. The other way of using it is, for example, there is some substance which has led to after effects, side effects. Then to counter those effects, they may try to use another substance, thinking that will reduce the side effects.
Like compensating their thing.
Which may not happen, which may further complicate also. So these are all the ways they will be using, and these are all the reasons which are propelling the adolescents to use the substances. And always it starts with use only. Thereafter it will turn to abuse. Okay.
Sir has rightly stated that they have started using substances for using only, and later on it becomes abuse level. And here I want to ask you, what are the dangerous fronts of substance abuse by adolescents?
This is another important question you have rightly touched, because when adolescents start using substance, then it will gradually lead to abuse, because it becomes very difficult for them to control. In the process, they will suffer in many fronts. First and foremost thing is personal front. In the personal front, health is the first thing that will get affected. Then in the process, they will lose their self-esteem, and there will be identity crisis also at the personal level. That is one important thing. Next is at the home front. In the home front, these adolescents will get estranged, isolated, and nobody in the family will approve his actions, so that is how he will be getting increasingly isolated. That is at the home front.
Yes.
Next is in the school front. In the school front, many things will happen. He may not be regular to the school, then there will be scoldings from not only teachers, again at the home, that will be having repercussions. All these things will be influencing the adolescent at the school front. Next, at the societal front, when the family itself is isolating the people, generally the neighbors and the larger society also would try to avoid them, and they do not like to involve the adolescents in any specific activity. Then comes the bigger front, that is, there will be predatory adults in every society, and if they come to know that so and so is misbehaving like that, and if they are capable of misusing them, they will try to misuse those adolescents who are abusing the substances and facing already for problems at different levels: personal, home, school and societal front. So even if they abuse, then they will not be blamed also. No, he is already has already gone out of order, so there is nothing wrong. Yes. That is how they will take advantage, and antisocial elements are there. If these adults get into the hands of these antisocial elements, then it will be very difficult situation for them to come out of that network, because that network is very large and powerful networks.
Sometimes they form gangs
also. So like that they cannot come. Then inevitably the adolescents will join one or the other gang for their own survival as the criminals, nothing more than that. Then intentional or accidental overdose of drugs they take in the process, then they will further abuse the substances, and it will lead to violence, accidents, injuries and death. And sometimes when they are intoxicated, then they want to have sex also, they may resort to unprotected sex with anybody, and that will lead to diseases such as AIDS, etc. So these are all the fronts in which the adolescents are expected to suffer.
Okay, sir, you have rightly detailed about the dangerous fronts of substance abuse by adolescents. What are the ways substances are abused?
There are many ways the substances are abused. First and foremost thing is using of illegal substances, I can say.
Yes.
Whether you know about it or not, if you are using those substances, it is called abuse of the substance, and it will have its legal consequences as well. Next is overuse of any prescribed medicine. Yes. Something is prescribed by the doctor, you have to use it in the prescribed quantity only. If you exceed, then it will be treated as abuse. Yes. And another problem is, for example, it has been prescribed for you and somebody in the family uses it, then also it becomes abuse. So that is another way of abusing. And some other problem is way of abusing is non-medical use of drugs. Some drugs are to be used for the medical purposes only, but they don't do that. Yes. That is another problem. Next is addiction to solvents. These are not for human consumption drugs, for example, such as glues are there. Yes. Certain other solvents are there, nail polish, etc. Certain liquids, or boot polish is there. Yes. Or certain other liquids are there, maybe gels, etc. Though they are not meant for human consumption, they start using it. Once they start using it, they may perhaps enjoy using it, and they in the process get into abuse of the same thing. And last but not least thing is the legal highs. Yes. If somebody has come out with something, yes, this is good for this thing, they may say, and if it is used and it leads to health consequences, then one has to bear the consequences. And these are the ways substances are abused. And another problem is, once they are accustomed to abuse, They don't hesitate to use any number of substances to come out of their perceived problems.
Okay, sir. Till now we have discussed about the substance use and abuse. What are the ways and what types of substances are used by adolescents? At last, sir, I want to ask you, who can play crucial role in prevention and control of substance use and abuse among adolescents?
There are different agents, in fact, who can effectively try to prevent or control the substance abuse among the adolescents.
Yes.
The first and foremost agencies, I can say, are the parents and the siblings or other members of the family.
Yes.
And it is they who can really monitor effectively and also regulate their behavior in a right direction. If they are failing, then comes the community, nearby community. If at all they have the ability to control and mostly neighborhood, immediate neighborhood, they can play a very effective role. That happens because they keep having frequent interactions with the parents and the neighborhood community. Yes. But if these students or these adolescents who are regular to the school but still having this kind of substance abuse problem, there the teachers who will be coming in more contact with the students because they are regular. Yes. So there the teachers role is more important. That is how they can play very effective role in the school, and the school also by monitoring the attendance etc. they can take effective steps to prevent and control substance abuse.
So thank you, sir, for the vast discussion. The key points that we will cover are the following: substance use and abuse, types of substances used and abused by adolescents, factors that cause use and abuse of substances among adolescents, range of risk and dangers associated with abuse of substances, role of teachers, school, parents and community in prevention and control of substance abuse.